Why can't all games let you break pots this easily? I take it back. Breaking pots is not easy in this game. What's up, guys? My name is Matt, also known as Sonicast, here from Firelight Studios. Welcome back to this All Stray Beads walkthrough of Okami. So, ignore the glitching tree in the background. I thought that would make a nice view, but that kind of ruined it. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. We'll look this way instead. Last time we went through the beginning of Tsuta Ruins and found 3 stray beads, and we also got the vine brush technique, which we are now going to use to progress further on in here. If you guys remember from last episode, we were in this room up here to get the vine brush technique, then backtracked to get a stray bead. But now we're going to head on back through here and progress the way that we're supposed to. So I figured out a little bit of a secret to using vine, because I struggled with that pretty mightily last time around. It's just, with all the bloom brush techniques, you can kind of see this green smoke that appears, because the brush is actually smart and it can kind of tell when you can use certain brush techniques in certain areas. And so this is kind of a good way to figure out that if you've got your brush in the right position to actually make the brush technique work. So that's pretty useful. You can notice that too with rejuvenation. Basically the ink kind of sticks and there's the sort of smoke coming from it if it's on something that can be rejuvenated. Good. So that was relatively painless. Now we're gonna head on into this back into this main room, I believe. Actually, I apologize. I think this is a new room. Is this? Yeah, no, this is the entry. I was right the first time. Okay, I thought it was. I had to make sure. There's a boss in there to help us get back up, I assume. Not that I have any intention of falling. Yeah, so there's that bridge we rejuvenated, so this is indeed the entry room. We're gonna head up around here, and we're gonna go to the 3rd Konohana Blossom, which we will use to progress upwards. And then we just continue to vine across everything. It's giving us a lot of practice for the vine technique, in case you haven't noticed. Almost as if it's going to be used in a boss battle shortly. Oh, missed that one. I just mentioned the whole green smoke thing and then I completely messed it up. Yeah, so this is the top of that little weird statue thing. So we're gonna head on up on top here. There's a tortoise shell. That's the only thing I could think it looks like. I think it's actually supposed to be some sort of helmet, but who knows. And we're just gonna use these vines onto each hook, which I found is easiest if you stand on top of it. That also made us run out of ink, but it's fine. We should probably get it back shortly, I hope. Yeah. We're gonna leap on down here. As you can see, there is a metric shit ton of statues down here. Which means that we just do this. Free stuff, yes! Why can't all games let you break pots this easily? I take it back. Breaking pots is not easy in this game. Alright, and one more. The best part is that no matter how big that power slash is, it still only uses one ink. Oh, that was pretty bad. I got a new controller, by the way, which makes it a lot easier for me to draw straight lines, so that's good. There's an Orochi mirror here if you want to save, but there's actually no real point in saving there, because there's a golden gate straight up on here, which is this is going to be the first time we'll encounter one of those. It's basically like a temporary checkpoint. So the only real reason to save there is if you're ending off if you're kind of like basically quitting the game and coming back at a later time. But there's another origin mirror in the room right outside this one, pretty much. So there's still not much more point to it, in my opinion. The only real reason it makes sense is in case you die during the boss, but they've got the golden gate for that. So yeah, the golden gate we're gonna run into just past this door here, and it's basically it's a temporary save point. So it creates a temporary save file, and it reloads it automatically if you die to the boss in the following area. Which is nice because, one, I have a huge issue with games where, like, the only saves are when you manually save, because if you forget to save, then you're basically screwed. Like, The Witcher 2, I basically stopped playing entirely because I had to redo 2 chapters twice because I didn't save, and then died. Like, if that game actually gave you some sort of checkpoint, it'd be fine, but no, you have to manually save every single time. Oblivion and Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls games, do a similar thing, but at least they have an autosave on it, so if you don't save for a while, you're not completely screwed. Also, Amaterasu is incredibly graceful, and as you just saw right there. And that flower is not at all ominous in any way, shape, or form. Again, Amaterasu incredibly graceful. So since I know I've kind of been rapidly going through all of the dialogue here, since there's so much of it, there's kind of bits of the story that you guys might not miss unless you're pausing the video every 3 seconds to read the text that I'm skipping. But basically, the kid Kokari that we were helping out in the forest, his dog Ume got missing in the Tsuta Ruins, and when the kid was running away, and that's his dog right there, who has been eaten by this giant flower that, again, is not at all ominous in any way, shape, or form. And Isun probably shouldn't be standing there. Thankfully, at least Amaterasu knows what's up. Isun still has no clue what's going on, because he's very slow. And look! 8 dragon heads! I wonder what that could be! Orochi. This is not Orochi, it's one of his minions, but you can see the spirit was kind of hovering over there. And this is the Spider Queen. So this is the first true boss in the game. Technically Waka was a boss, but the game doesn't really consider it a boss, I guess I should say. He's more of a, I guess maybe a mini-boss is the best way to describe him. Because basically with most of the games, with each of the major bosses, Amaterasu does a victory howl after each one, and she doesn't do one after the Waka fight. So by that logic, you could say the game doesn't really consider him a boss, but the way that fight goes down, it does kind of feel like it. Dog is not usually on my menu, aside from the one that I've already eaten and is currently in my belly. Which Isun is clearly thinking the same thing as me there. And I should mention, a lot of characters in this game think that Isun is speaking for Amaterasu. Because she's a silent protagonist, obviously being a wolf, and not being able to speak English, but because Isun's so small, a lot of characters don't see him and think that it's actually Amaterasu talking. Which probably isn't an ideal situation for her, considering that Isun is generally fairly dumb. So, I tried to headbutt there, but headbutt doesn't exist in battle. So with her, basically the easiest way is just to kind of keep circling her. There's a couple different basic attack patterns she'll do at the beginning, and pretty much all of them can be avoided by just running for the most part. You can see there's those hooks on the back of her flower. You want to attach those to vines, and she's not being very cooperative about this at the moment. There we go. I should be able to get one here, hopefully. Good, there's one. There's 2. Yeah, you just need to do 2 before she opens up, and then you can basically power slash these eyeballs to death as you approach. And then once she starts shaking like that, just jump off, because she will try to eat you, and repeat. So I did a pretty decent damage there. And my ink is a little bit worrying, so I'm actually going to use an Infinity Stone here, I think. Oh, and that's perfect timing, too. If I can actually get this. Whenever that brown thing shows up, power. Amy, please just... Thank you. If I ever said anything about the Celestial Brush being smart, I take that all back. Also, phone ringing in the background, ignore that. Oh my god, please. I see the smoke! Oh my god, this isn't gonna work. Thank you! That took way much more effort than it should have. Power Slash, please! Thank you. Since I basically have infinite ink, I'm just gonna keep doing this, I think. Alright, she's dead. That was actually a lot quicker than I thought it would be. Yeah, pretty much every single time you fight her or a boss that's basically just a palette swap of her, just Power Slash repeatedly, and that's all you have to do. Because all you have to do are kill each of those eyes, they each have their own separate HP, and the Power Slash it gets pretty much all of them, so... Yeah, that was a lot faster than I thought it was going to end up being. Excellent background right now. I can't remember if there's supposed to be anything in here or if this is just an emulation error, because it's been so long since I played the actual game. So that was someone going downstairs to interrupt the recording session. Yay. Yay. And I'm pretty sure that was my mom. She's coming back. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Why are you licking my chair? Yeah, you walk away. Silly dog. So we got a new divine instrument there, Snarling Beast. This is actually another reflector, so as I mentioned in a previous episode, I think it was 2 episodes ago? Yeah, Agata Forest, where we got the devout beads. Not the devout beads. Were they the devout beads? I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure the devout beads are from Okami. Those are the most powerful beads you can get as Chibi Tarasu, if I remember right. Yeah, so there's Ume, we're gonna bring him back, is what Isun's basically saying, and then the victory howl that I mentioned earlier that happens after each major boss. But no, we got Snarling Beast, which is the second reflector in the game, and it's weird because as I mentioned, there's 3 types of weapons. You've got glaives, which are not glaives, they're swords. They are swords. Using glaive to refer to a sword, as I've ranted about her before, is not accurate. And it does, and the usage of it as such really bugs me. Thank you, French, for making that misrepresentation a thing. Sure, let's save. Actually, let's not save, in case something goes wrong with the recording, because I've had to interrupt it already. If I had to redo this, I don't want to have to start a new file and play back up to here, or some garbage. So yeah, Kari and Ume are going to be reunited in the background. But yeah, we got our second reflector before getting the first glaive, which is kind of weird, but it's fine. Because the new reflector does deal a bit more damage than our current one, and I'm also going to use one of the gold dust that we bought from the merchant to upgrade it. And as I mentioned when we got that gold dust, the reason that I don't use it right away on those first 2 weapons we get, the first rosary and the first reflector, is because the last 2 gold dust in the game, there's basically each merchant in the game sells 2 gold dust. And the last merchant in the game is past a point of no return. So if there's stuff that's missing that you need to go back and do, you can't have the most powerful weapons in the game upgraded with gold dust to do so, unless you've saved 2 gold dust from earlier on. Also, Isun is not a good example to anybody. Yeah, little kid, he was setting me a lesson, telling you that you shouldn't be afraid and that you're almost a man, so you should just go out and do adventures even though you're little and he'll probably get you killed, is basically what his speech is amounting to here. So yeah, great influence. Those soundbites are distorting again, ignore that. Thank you, Okami, for having possibly the worst soundbites of any game ever. They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. There's a couple that aren't terrible, but for the most part, they're pretty bad. They sound absolutely terrible. And actually, if you go onto like PS2 emulation forums and stuff, you'll see a bunch of threads of people like who are trying to emulate Okami, and they're just like, yeah, the dialogue is sounding like really robot like, and it's just like, yeah, that's not the emulation. The game actually sounds like that. It's pretty bad. I've still got infinite English, so this is lasting a lot longer than I thought. Okay, so we're back here in Agata Forest now. There's 2 stray beads that we can now obtain. My dog is doing something over there. So we head over to this island where we first met Hikari, and we played that fishing minigame. And there's 1 Konohana Blossom there, which I'm going to jump to make this a little bit easier. And that's going to get us stray bead number 15. I should mention, whenever I'm talking about the number of a stray bead, they're actually labeled by number. So we might, there's a couple I think that we don't have yet. So if I'm trying to remember correctly, I haven't been keeping too much track as far as to how many we have exactly, but basically, I also just realized that there's another treasure that I missed over here, as well as a buried treasure right there. So let's get those real quick. There's no more. There's the other stray bead in this area that we can get right now. Isn't what I'm going to get right now. There's just a couple treasures, but extra money never hurt anybody. Where is this damn blossom gone off to? That's the one for the stray bead, I'm pretty sure. And maybe not, actually. Alright, I'm confused. I'm pretty certain... I'm fairly certain this is the one I was literally just at. Yeah, it was. Okay, so for some reason I can't find it, but there's another Konohana Blossom off in that general direction. And that goes to a buried treasure. So it's just extra yen, it's nothing too important, so I'm not going to waste time at the moment, but yeah, it's there. I'm going to sell some stuff at this merchant as well. But no, kind of what I was talking about there with the numbering system for the stray beads, they are actually... What? What are you barking at? Be quiet. For fuck's sake. She really wanted to go upstairs, apparently. Okay, but yeah, so the stray beads, their numbering system, each one is actually individually assigned a number. So even though I don't believe we have 15 exactly, I think there's 1 in Kamiki Village. Or there's like 1 or 2, I'm pretty sure, that we haven't gotten yet. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Oh, that's right, this one is sealed by that, so I can't get it yet. I was wondering how I missed a clover there. But that makes more sense. Where's this flower? There it is. Good. So this is going to be the other stray bead. This is number 16. So yeah, when you hear me refer to stray beads as the numbering system, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's exactly how many stray beads we have. It's the actual number of the stray bead. So if you're playing through this game and you're only you've like missed 1 or 2 stray beads, the numbering system that I've said that I've used there is going to be an easy way to kind of figure out which ones you're missing. So that's pretty much everything we can do in Agata Forest right now. So now we need to head towards the south, which is this way. Basically up the hills is considered a separate map area than this. Yeah, there it is. Had to regain my bearings. It's going to be through this fenced area right over here, if I remember rightly. And we're going to run into Hikari and Ume. You also might have noticed a second ago there that there was there's like, almost looked like a ghost or something. It's really weird with how this game decides to render stuff. There's like I guess it's like a low, it's a low poly model that they use to render far off NPCs. So basically that they're loaded, but they don't have to use too many resources to actually display them. But because of that, there's actually certain areas where you can see those sort of placeholder models before the actual thing renders in. And as far as I'm aware, that's true with every version that I've played, even in the HD remake. Also, Susano is here to ruin everything. And Isun is very indecisive. So this minigame is literally ass. Because you have to have really good reaction time, and it's very finicky, is probably the best way to put it. Basically, either 6 hooks on this log, and we have to use Konohana Blossoms. So I definitely just saw... Okay, there it is. So you can see, like, with the smoke trail, it does, like, you don't have to draw it exactly on the blossom. Actually, if you do that, it doesn't even count it. So it's really weird like that. So I've kind of found that the best way to do this is to basically... Okay, I couldn't get that to draw fast enough to get the other one, but it's fine. There's actually quite a lot of these, so if you miss a couple, it's not a huge deal. And that's the entire right side done. So yeah, you can kind of just freeze it like this to sort of give yourself more time to react. And basically you just had to look for that green smoke trail like I mentioned a while back. That's the easiest way to do it. If you don't do it like that, you're probably in for a very bad time, because it's very finicky otherwise. So yeah, that was... I'm surprised actually how quickly I got that done. Because usually I just barely manage to get it. But in that case, I guess I did slow things down quite a bit just by constantly mashing the brush, so that helped quite a bit. And Isun's giving the kid all the credit, even though he did pretty much nothing. And again, bad influence. Very much so. So this is actually going to be a really quick episode, because I was expecting the boss battle in this log section to take much more time than they did. But yeah, so there's a couple more things we can do here. I'm going to feed Ume real quick, and he eats meat, like every other dog in this game. And that's going to give us another 10 praise. And then I'm going to jump over this log. Real quick also, I'm just going to level up our wallet, because as you can see, we're starting to get close to filling it up. We're not really, I guess it's only like a third of the way through, but I'd rather not have to waste yen because it runs out, and as always, we haven't run into too much trouble with health. There was just that one fight in Tsuta Ruins that really gave an issue. Also, I missed hairs there. They only give you 4 frays, so I'm not even going to bother going back to get it. I'll probably do it off camera. But right on the other side of that bridge, near the chest that I opened, there's going to be a set of hairs. You can feed them herbs for another 4 praise. Again, it's 4 praise, so I'm not concerned enough to go back and get it and go through a loading zone again. So yeah, that's actually where I'm going to cut off this episode again. It's probably going to be a pretty short one, because this is going to end up being... We're at 26 minutes now, according to my recording session, and there was probably a good 5 minutes or so in there of me waiting for the people who were disturbing my recording to leave. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I have been SonicCast. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to Firelight Studios if you want to see a bit more of our content, and I will see you all next time.